So why would God do that? That He makes it look like it's Jesus, but then He is tricking the people. He's tricking everybody. This is Allah. Come on. Why would He do that?
Okay, Allah never says anywhere in the Quran He made someone look like Him. Why do you keep saying that?
He does. He just said that.
No, the Quran doesn't. So when it says it appears so, what could that mean? It could mean somebody else.
To crucify somebody else.
Okay. It could be they thought He was dead and He wasn't. It could mean that as well. It could mean there was never a crucifixion, but the writers of the New Testament manufactured it. We have three theories: substitution theory, swoon.
So first of all, this lady, this خنزير lady, يعني الله يلعن ذا الوجه، يعني تشبه الدلفين النافخ. So this big lady, okay, that looks like old hag, farmer، ما أدري إيش نوعية هذه العجوز. This lady saying that because Allah made a different appearance appear on Isa alayhi salam in the Quran, means that Allah is deceiving the people by making Jesus appear in a way that he is not recognized as Jesus according to the Quran. Now this old hag, يعني ما أدري إيش هذا، يعني حتى even if you look at the tiger or the leopard on her, the two eyes, just shows you like the two eyes on the two things. It kind of shows you that, sometimes there are crazy people, So now this lady, as we said before, she's saying that Jesus, the Quran says that Allah made Jesus appear as if there's a crucifixion, so he deceived the eyes of the people. Yani, it just shows you that the lack of, Allah made a person appear as if it's Jesus and made people think that because Allah is plotting against them. Because these disbelievers thought they could plot against Allah. And Allah actually plotted against them and made them appear as fools. Right? Now she didn't even read her own Bible, that her own God, according to her words, her own God deceives. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 11 to 12, it says, "And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie." So your own God here says He, God, will send them a strong delusion, a strong deception. Your God will send these people strong deception so that they will believe the lie. They will believe the deception that your God sent. So your own God here deludes people, sends delusions, sends deceptions, sends lies. Another thing I want to show is this is not different. In Ezekiel chapter 14 verse 9, your God says, "And if the prophet be deceived when he hath spoken a thing, I, the Lord," I meaning God, Yahweh, your Jesus, "have deceived that prophet." Your own God deceived the prophet. "And I will stretch out my hand upon him and will destroy him from the midst of my people." Your own God deceived that prophet. Why? Because he wants to destroy him. So your own God deceives according to your own Bible. Old hag. Let's go here and go to her own Jesus actually takes different forms. In Mark chapter 16 verse 12, it says, "Afterward Jesus appeared in a different form to two of them while they were walking in the country." He appeared to two people. Jesus appeared to two people in a different form. So he took one form and took another. He changed his form, right? So no one could recognize him. Another thing I want to show you is, what if your Jesus is all truthful, not scared of anything, why doesn't he appear in one form? It says in John chapter 21 verse 4 to 14, "Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize that it was Jesus." Jesus was standing on the shore in front of the disciples, and they didn't know it was Jesus. He's in different form. He called out to them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" "No," they answered. He said, "Throw your net on the right side of the boat and you will find some. When they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the large number of fish. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." As soon as Simon Peter heard him say, "It is the Lord," he wrapped his... he was in front of them in the shore. They didn't know he was God. Right? They didn't know that he was God. They didn't know it was Jesus. Jesus was standing in the shore. They didn't know it was Jesus. And they were talking with him, right? And they were seeing him in front of him. And then when he says, "It is the Lord," then they knew him. This is a clear deception that even if the Dajjal, the Antichrist, were to appear to them, or Jesus would appear to them, they wouldn't differentiate between Jesus and the Dajjal. Because even when Jesus was standing on the shore in front of them in a different form, they didn't recognize him. So, and of course, this event was, as it says here, this was now the third time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from dead. This is the third time he appeared. This is after the resurrection. Right? So this wasn't in the beginning. This was after Jesus accompanied them, right? And died and then was resurrected. So he already accompanied them and they knew it was Jesus at first. They saw Jesus, but when he died and raised from the dead, they didn't recognize him. They didn't recognize that was their God. Idiots. Anyway, if you go to this here, it says, oh yeah, I forgot. It says here in John 20 verse 15, Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you seeking?" The woman supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him." She says, if you carried Jesus away from her grave, because Mary didn't find Jesus in the grave. She said, "Sir," thinking that Jesus, the one who's talking to her, was the gardener. But it was actually Jesus. She didn't recognize it was Jesus. She thought it was the gardener. And he says, "Sir, if you have carried Jesus away, tell me and I will take him away," etc., etc., right? So, it actually says here, these Christians say, okay, how could these two disciples have walked, talked, and eaten with Jesus without recognizing him? In this instance, it seems that they were supernaturally prevented from recognizing Jesus. But then they say, Jesus perhaps had taken on a different appearance to keep himself from being recognized. Because this is what after his death, right? They crucified him, they killed Jesus. Jesus appeared in different form to the disciples after he was raised from the dead. So to deceive the people, right? So that those other people will not recognize that this was Jesus. So he took on a different form. As a deception. They will think he's just a regular man. Right? So this is what exposes this fool, this lady, saying that Allah deceives. Her own Jesus deceived. And her own Jesus even says that I deceive the prophets, I deceive this, I send delusion to the people, right? She got to learn some lessons, right? Where's she, that lady?
The writers of the New Testament manufactured it. We have three theories: substitution theory, swoon.
Look at that whole theory. She's trying to carry the body from one side to the other side. You look like she came from an asylum. She's delphine نافخ خنزير. Look at her, look at these eyes, look at these eyes. I was just looking. Idiot. I guess so.